No flushing right now. Not yet, at least. Although some things are looking like they do want to get some flush action going on here. Anyways, plenty to discuss today as we do have a monthly and bi-monthly. The bi-monthly, the they-them closure coming up a little bit later. That is going to be, well, I guess the most important thing to be focusing on in the short term here, just because it is the highest term time frame closing, of course. But ultimately, it's the quarterly. The quarterly is the big one. And let me just adjust my camera as I did fuck that up. My apologies there. My bad. Hold on. Let me just adjust some things on my screen over here. I did get a little bit of a late start to this one, mostly because I was taking my own dumps before this lovely little stream. So let me get the chats adjusted here so I can actually see them in front of my very face. That would be very, very good. Very, very nice. Very, very beautiful. And what's up, Mr. Joe Marty? Make Crown great again. That's right. We need to make me great again. You know what? There's one way to do this. One way only. And that is through the power of the cornholios. Wait, no, I can't. Don't think I can play that one on YouTube. It was too good. Look, it was too fucking good. I'll show you. All right. Don't get pissed off. Okay. Look, I don't hate her because she's a Democrat. I hate her because she, for whatever reason, doesn't want the U.S. to go to a war with Iran, which is absolutely insane in my opinion. I mean, goddamn, man. Yeah, she's not the most patriotic member of the community. Kick her out, says Elsa. Yeah, kick her out indeed. Whatever, man. There's always gonna be one. There's always be one, of course. Not everyone can be based AF. Market smells funky, says Mr. Pow Pow. Indeed it does, man. Indeed it does. Oh, I remember this guy. He talks like he's on speed. What are you doing here, sir? Like, seriously, what the fuck are you doing here? Just weird shit as usual on the YouTubes. People would join in just to say something stupid as fuck. And we love it. We love the engagement. I love the fucking engagement, man. Michael Blast says who indeed. Well, I'll let you figure that one out yourself, sir. What's up, Mr. Bear Nutrition? Good morning to you, man. Max Mustin, Justo Salinas, an OG of OGs back from 2018. Absolutely love to see it, man. Reeb says good afternoon, Crown, and Elsa, good afternoon to you as well from London. Hell yeah, man. Hey, Crown, thanks for getting me access to the Mastery TA program again. Going to revisit all the modules and then grab the Trading Bible. Oh, awesome, man. Well, very, very glad to hear. Make sure to contact Elsa beforehand, though, because she will give you a big discount for having that first one there. So in case you didn't know, you do get a discount if you do have any sort of previous program. What's up, T Night? Cut and pluck. We need some more cutting and plucking. We need some more positive. We need some more positivity here. We need some more positivity. Jane Street hose. Hold on, bro. You want a war? I do not want a war, but I am not obviously naive and lobotomized to think that war is inevitable in some cases. And you do have enemies, whether you realize it or not. It's like the story of Lord of the Rings. You're in the Shire. You don't even realize all of these forces protecting you, giving you this beautiful, very peaceful life. You have no fucking clue of all of the things going on in the background, all of the bloodshed, all of the very ugly things that unfortunately have to happen in order for you to enjoy such beautiful peace and beautiful relaxation in your life. And unfortunately, that is the situation, at least in my opinion, with what's going on over there in that portion of the Middle East, in that Iran, as well as China and Russia, are the axis of evil. If you are in the Western Hemisphere, and if you do love the Western, style of life, then I don't really see why you'd be rooting for that team, because they are literally diametrically opposed to whatever the fuck you are in favor of, and you're just too naive to realize it, or you've been misled by all sorts of bullshit on the internet. But that's not something that I really want to get into in a video like this. We should be talking about price action, some fucking price action. And hey, it might be that you're just not from the Western world, and in which case, naturally, you're gonna have a difference of opinion than me. But I would say, if you are in the Western world and you do like those things, you're a fucking idiot if you don't believe that. Sorry, or just very uneducated. That's just my opinion, and you're entitled to yours as well. But of course, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Because none of us are going to be making those decisions anyways. Anyways, for Bitcoin, like I said, there is a big monthly closure and bi-monthly closure coming in a little bit later today, in which case I do want to focus on the bi-monthly chart, because there is something that I do want to bring into the conversation right now, just because it's a little bit opposed to my general view that Bitcoin probably doesn't have that much more downside to go. And I do want to be representing, just the data is as it is. And in this case, the bi-monthly time frame is going to close later tonight, in which we are almost undoubtedly going to see this one continue to the downside, unless Bitcoin, by some act of God, rallies up almost $40,000 from where it's at right now, above $108,600. I guess nothing's impossible, but it is, in my opinion, very, very low probability. And it is going to put the bi-monthly stochastic oscillator in a very precarious position. Why do I say that? Because anytime that we've seen it get down to what would be the presumed level here, so you can actually forecast exactly where the stochastic oscillator will be on this next open, which again will come, technically speaking, for spot price action that'll be on Sunday, but for for all intents and purposes, whatever closure we get today is very likely to be a closure for tomorrow, which is going to be the monthly and bi-monthly, and that's going to put it right around here. And anytime that we've seen the bi-monthly stochastic oscillator get down to this region, that has generally been before or leading into some pretty nasty and major dump offs. Sorry, these current ones, or sorry, these first ones over here are not in the same posturing that I'm speaking about as of this current one. But yes, you can see back on over, I guess if we kind of adjust this, is it right there? Is it right there? Actually, I guess it would be right here, in fact. But for both of these ones, it was preceding the mega dump off, actually. The mega dump off in which Bitcoin did come down, I think, close to about 50% from those numbers. This one over here from 2018 was 55%. This one over here from 2021 was about 53%. So, if I do want to find something that directly contradicts my personal belief, which is that Bitcoin is probably going to find a low in the mid $50,000 territory, this would be it, or this would be among those reasons, of course. And at the very least, have to be looking for Bitcoin to come down, somewhere around that green 55 EMA on the bi-monthly time frame, which is in the mid $40,000 territory. Again, it's kind of opposed to what I've been looking at as of recent, but I want to represent all of the data and all of the signals, as biasedly neutral as possible. And yeah, that would certainly be on the much more bearish side here, suggesting that we have another 30 to maybe even 50% correction from where Bitcoin's at right now. I still think that there is, even if that is going to happen, it probably takes a long time, and there's going to be a lot of bounces in between. But yeah, if we do see a further washout, I suppose that would be the next major areas of interest. But I'm still looking at this $55,000 to $60,000 area as very likely at least be getting a much more prolonged consolidation. If we go over here to the short-term timeframes, Rev and Ribbons still getting this. The Rev and Ribbons. I think I've almost got it now, where I'm not completely fucking it up. But the Rev and Ribbons over here, once again, continuing to show the overall bias to the downside, as long as you're below the midband, which is currently 68,300 and change. What? Sir, I'm fucking busy talking and you want me to pin your goddamn message? Jesus Christ. All right, that's enough yelling at Elsa for one day. Apologies. We'll yell some more at her later, and me and Rosie will do it. But yeah, looking at the daily right here for Bitcoin, as long as it's below 68,300, downside bias remains. We did see the hidden bearish divergence potential on yesterday's video that was then validated later on with the 12-hour closure. And so downside still the more likely thing to be happening. I guess the somewhat good thing here is that we are starting to see the lower end of this band start to really come back and give somewhat of an upside or an upside posture right here. So volatility is contracting, and we do kind of expect that on consolidation. But with all of these lower highs here, that consolidation is going to start to take on significantly more of a bearish twist. So it's like, no matter which way I kind of start to spin this one, it's like if the downside wants to get tested, I think the best case scenario is that we just get a quick wick to the downside and again close back above $60,000 intra-week. But for all intents and purposes, risk is to the downside right now. As long as you're below 68,300, there's no potential even reversal to be spoken about. However, because of yesterday and the day prior's rejection, we can move down a resolution point for calling a reversal here, not just to 68,300, but I'd even say trading above the Tuesday high of 70,057 would very likely do it for me. And at that point, very likely looking at a move towards 75, maybe even $80,000. It's very possible right there. So one of two things could make me into a bounce believer, if you will. One, either closing the daily above 68,300 or just trading above basically Tuesday's high, again 70,057. That's essentially what I'm looking at right there. Until that happens, have to be looking for further downside, I suppose. Going over here to the 12-hour time frame, we can still see again that 12-hour hidden bearish divergence was indeed confirmed, not just on spot, but also on CME here too. So, where's price action likely to go? Very likely back down to these lows. And because we are starting to put in what would be a descending triangle on these lows, there is going to be an implied move for this upon breakage, which, obviously requires resolution, but, so far so good, I guess. And as of right now, again, as long as Bitcoin's below, what was it exactly? 68,300 on a daily closing basis. this is a descending triangle. These are lower highs, and we got same lows here at 62,500 or so. So there is an implied target to be made if Bitcoin does break below these lows, which would happen with any sort of a closure below 62,500. And that would imply a target all the way down to where? It would imply a target all the way down to about 55,000 bucks. So again, I actually do think best case scenario is going to be a quick wick down, close the weekly back above 60,000 bucks. If I see something like that, I would be, a sort of low believer, if you will, or at least a short-term / medium-term reversal believer for sure. Maybe a macro reversal, but for right now, if you're bullish, you kind of I think you're gonna have to stomach a little bit of downside here, maybe even a lot of downside, depending upon your disposition, because from 62,000 or basically from 66,000 bucks to 55,000 bucks, that's like a 20% move almost. Almost 20% move right there. So that is a lot. And again, if the bi-monthly has anything to say about it, like it theoretically could get a lot worse, especially with low volatility right here. So I don't want to be Pollyannish about this, despite my personal beliefs that Bitcoin should at least play at a nice bounce from this level. But I guess some more waiting will be required for this one. Going over to the monthly time frame, this one obviously going to continue down here as well. This one lost the bullish control zone a couple months ago in December, and it is now finding its way actually into the bearish control zone pending this month's closure, assuming that this month closed below $115,500, which I don't know, seems a little bit like it to me. Only $50,000 rally in the next day. Very possible, right? Downside bias remains, and getting into the bearish control zone has generally not been good, historically speaking. So I'll do the same thing here for the monthly, in which we can document the previous times it's actually had its first move into that bearish control zone. And let's see where price has been in the overall cycle during those times. And these green vertical bars will correlate with that. And what do you know? Again, it's the same kind of issue here. The only one that I suppose is somewhat, I guess okay, would be the 2022 saga right here. But even then, from that low to the next, actual low was another 22.5% move almost to the downside. Of course, over here in 2018, this one was preceding a major 50% plus move. Of course, in 2014, I think we have more or less the same right here from there to the next major low, 56%. And over here, this one actually did get the low, or actually, sorry, my line is a little bit off. It's kind of between here and here. Downside was tested, low was very close to it. But in terms of timing, I don't think that we're that far off. In terms of price, it could be very far off. That's what kind of makes me a little bit concerned here. So moving on to traditional markets taking it on the fucking chin after the economic data coming out this morning. But still, it is finding a higher low here as of right now. At the same time, I want to be so fucking clear about saying this. While there is still, 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 higher lows working on here, there is 1, 2, 3 lower highs. And to confirm this as a reversal to the downside, all you need to see is just a trade below this week's low, or sorry, not this week's low, but last week's low, which was 67,091. If you see that, it's a reversal. Have to be getting ready for a real downside in March. A couple $100 lower perhaps. But that would very likely equate to a whole market correction. But again, it's not quite there just yet. And for right now, you're getting higher lows on effectively what is the trend line, or sorry, the price action pivots trend line extension right here. So if there ever is going to be a chance for a higher low, that's fucking it, baby. That's fucking it. So if you are looking at that as investable, I suppose that would be the trigger right there. Personally, I am not taking this as an opportunity. I am invested with as much money as I want right now in traditional markets for long-term investments. For short-term, I don't have much going on except for options trades. But even then, I did not take that short put spread because we did not see the closure that we were looking for on Wednesday's video, very specifically above about 69,000 and change. That was the trigger for taking that position. Unfortunately, we did not get that. And if anything, I might even have a short call spread to be done there, but I probably don't want to be taking that risk as of the current moment. Anyways, NASDAQ, same thing here. This one a little bit weaker, obviously. Same higher lows with last week's low at 24,440 or so as the pivot below there. Yep, it is a reversal, and do have to be getting ready for, some real downside, probably down to like 23.5, maybe even 22.5, something like that. But for right now, I still got to give it a chance in the same way that I'm giving SPY a chance, because those higher lows do remain. But again, make no mistake about it. If that level gets taken out, it's fucking lights out, baby. It's fucking lights out. And of course, if we go over to gold is the one thing that's actually doing quite well right now, which continues to throw me for a fucking loop because I do expect to trade with the rest of the market. But hey, that just might be my own stupid biases getting in the way. Very possible indeed. But at the moment, it is still hanging around that 250 number, or sorry, the 5250 number, 5,250 number, which is very, very critical because if it does close a daily above there, it's just bullish, man. It's just fucking bullish. And keeping it up at these levels, near the end of this month as well. I mean, this is not going to look bad coming into the beginning of March. Same thing on the bi-monthly right here. This is not bad as it stands. So again, for me, when it comes to gold, I cannot call a real reversal here on the macro as long as it's above the price action pivot at 48.40 at this point. And even in the short term, you don't even have a short-term reversal, which wouldn't even matter that much in the short term, to be honest with you, until you're back down below yesterday's low, basically. And at that point, yeah, you got a pullback very likely at 5,000, but even then at 5,000, that's another higher low. So got to give that one another chance. Again, I cannot validate my personal opinion in looking at this as a bull trap until you're back down below the mid-February low of 48.42, basically 48.42 is the number to beat for the bears. Until then, it's still an uptrend, and it looks like it's going for a strong close into the end of this month. It's a long day left to go, obviously, but for right now, so far so good, with Bitcoin slinking down as well as Stonks doing the same shit here too. Anyways, other than that, I'll get into the super chats really quickly. I also want to give a big shout out to Jay from yesterday. Fucking Jay, coming in the clutch, baby, coming in the fucking clutch, awareing me of a Knights Armament Company piece. Oh my God, it is the most rare thing of the rare things in the gun world. And I might be able to get one. Holy shit. Do we even need guns anymore? No, we have AI and robotics. So I need to get a robot with a gun attached to it. That's what I actually need. Anyways, Great White Hype says, in a circle short, looking for targets to close. I don't know what time frame you're going off of. I don't really know what you used in order to, take on this position to begin with, but let's check it out over here. And by the way, sorry, just one last thing for Bitcoin. One last thing for Bitcoin here. There is one thing that would make me immediately optimistic upon closure today for the weekly on CME, and that would be closing above the weekly stochastic mental pivot. It's very far away right now. Bless you, Elsa. But it would be 71,500. I think it's unlikely, but hey, if that did happen, that would be a super fucking objective signal to me. We're going to see a big rally, big fucking rally. But until then, still risk is to the downside. It's to the downside still, unfortunately. Anyways, let's go over to Circle. I don't even have it on my list, I guess. Or maybe I have it on different lists, because I actually do want to get a position in this thing. You're in a circle short. I don't know where you took that one from. I don't know where you're basing that off of. This one, I do think is at the height of its current bounce. I don't think that it's going to be going much higher than where it's currently at. It's bounced perfectly to the weekly 21 EMA as well, and also the top side of your previous range high. That's a damn good place for rejection. I think that this one's coming back down from here. So depending upon your strategy, I mean, if I was in this position, I'd probably hold. I'd probably hold short until I see another 6 handle again. But, again, if you're just borrowing conviction from me, a random retard on the internet, then, well, if things don't go that way, you're probably going to freeze in the moment. But again, I don't know where you started that position from. I think generally shorts above about $90 are pretty safe here. I think this thing tops out around here, basically. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But at the same time, I have no skin in the game on this one. It actually is a pretty easy trade, though, because if you do want to manage risk, all you need to do is wait for a closure above that price action pivot, which is about $91.30. And that would invalidate it. And, I don't know if I'd call it a reversal, but I wouldn't want to be short in that instance, because this thing's probably going to rally up a lot more, well above $100. But for right now, the trend is your friend, and the trend loves to get rejected right around areas like this, especially in a downtrend. So, I don't hate holding a short here. Again, I don't really know what your disposition was taking this one, but that's what I have to say about that, man. Straight Path says, "Good morning, sir. What's up, man? Does Mara have a shot here? Shot to which side, or did it get shot? If I'm looking for lower highs, this is the perfect area for that, man. Beautiful rejection of the daily 55 EMA. You're already seeing daily RSI getting up around the same highs that you saw from mid-January. I mean, that's the conditions necessary for putting in hidden bearish divergence. I do think it's possible that it might continue to rally a little bit more towards like $11 if things get really crazy, assuming that it pulls through here. But it's kind of like the last chart. It's like whether it tops out here, whether it tops out there, I don't know. But do I think it's I'm guessing you're asking in the context, like, does it have a shot to reverse here? No, I don't think that it is, man. This thing wants to come down. This is the chart of a shitcoin. It does not know what an uptrend is. This is not an investable asset, in my opinion. I think that whatever high you saw here from October 2025, you're never going to see that area reclaimed ever again, or at least not in the soon future, or even the distant future. That's a very long ways away. This thing is a lot more likely to head back down to the December 2022 lows than it is to pop back above. Like, everything's bearish about this chart right here. Everything. It's fucking ugly as shit. It's fucking ugly as shit, sir. Does it have a chance? Yes. It's just a very low probability chance. And if anything, I'd probably be looking for a rejection right here. Like I said, if by some act of God it pushes through there, I'd just be looking for, I mean, to be fair, like another 20% move to the upside, you know, somewhere around $11. That is a big move. But, you know, I'd be looking for a rejection there as well. It's just, do you get rejected here? Do we get rejected there? I don't know if it really matters that much, man. Do I think it has a chance? I mean, like, dude, there are so many fucking amazing looking charts in this market. You don't need to choose shitty ass charts. Okay. This isn't fucking crypto. I mean, it is crypto actually. And even in crypto, this shit doesn't work anymore. You know, that worked back in 2017. But yeah, when you see rounding price action like this, when you see this, it's like the rolling hills of it's just bad. It's just bad. Just like when you see accumulation like this, you know, price kind of works its way into an area like that. That's good. You know, that's good if you want to be a buyer. This over here is literally the opposite. It's just the rolling hills of distribution. You're getting fucking distributed on. No, I would not. There's much better opportunities in the market, I believe. Great Vibe Hype's looking at Hood on the weekly and monthly. Gotcha, man. Gotcha. Coin is in the same boat. Yeah, I'm not a humongous fan of Coinbase here either, even though I do hold some, but I've gotten rid of most of my Coinbase position already. Long term, you know, these things might be very, very successful. I don't know about Mara, but Coinbase makes a lot of sense to me. Gemini makes a lot of sense to me. Circle makes a lot of sense to me for sure. In the short term, though, it doesn't mean this is going to be great. I think you're going to get lower prices, you know, better investable regions. Hood got beat up pretty fucking nastily here. Short term, I think it's coming back down to test around these lows, $71 or so. But do I think it's going to hold around these lows? Probably yes. You know, I don't think it's going to shoot through the yellow 21 EMA on the monthly time frame without some sort of a bounce attempt. You also have potentially the conditions for a hidden bullish divergence drive between this low that we're seeing in February and this low from March of 2025 when it was trading all the way down here at $30. So I think in other words, I think you're going to get a pity bounce in March or April, something like that. Would I immediately be like super bullish on it? I don't know about that, man. I think you get a bounce and then further downside towards this red circle of destiny. But yeah, quarterly is not looking too hot. Bi-monthly, not looking too hot. And if anything, yeah, you know, $55, $60 is, I think that would be the better area if you were putting a gun to my head and said, figure out somewhere to buy this thing that's like a better, a better risk reward, or just makes more sense. That would be it. This was been in a downtrend pretty nastily since October. I mean, same thing as Bitcoin, basically. October 10th was the fucking, nail in the coffin for a lot of this market. Really, really ugly. Jay Pittman says, good morning. Can we take a look at SIL J? My target is $50 to $55. Okay. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. All right. $50 to $55. So you're looking for a 40% move from here, basically, which I like. I like the optimism. I like the enthusiasm. It's very good. Look, closing the monthly out like this is going to be good. And I do think you actually might be, your targets are probably reasonable. Yeah, bi-monthly and monthly, they're very likely going to go for new highs in March, maybe at latest April. I don't think that you have that much more time to go on this rally, but hey, you got hidden bullish evidence here on a rally that's already back to the previous highs. It's very likely to make new highs, I believe, in March. Do you get $50 to $55? I don't know about those exact targets. Probably yes, but I also do want to state on the other side that I don't think that this rally has that much more time to go. And I'd be extremely bearish on this thing if this thing even just traded below $30 or $31 for that matter. That'd be very, very ugly. But for right now, you're in the end of this parabolic blow off top. Things can get a little more crazy. I'm of the opinion it probably does get a little more crazy in March. So yeah, I'm gonna grab this paleo bar here, really fucking good from Club Costco, baby. Club fucking Costco. We love Club Costco, and we desperately need to go there as well. We really need to go. Elsa's sister, who came from Finland, was blown away by Costco. Also, very much blown away by the, of course, free samples, man. Anyways, Abs Boss says, hello, Crown and Elsa, and Little Puppy. That would be Rosie. Could you please take a look at ALCP? You know, I just read that out of the corner of my eye, and because it's so nice, I'm going to go and just briefly look at it. Probably not going to be too great, though. Well, I don't know. Euro stocks have actually been okay recently. Hold on. I think I massively fucked this one up. ALCPB. Boom. Oh, my God. ALC. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. My brain. ALCPB. Yes, there we go. Okay, this thing. What is this thing? Terrible. All right, analysis over. Yeah, man, it's about as bad as it gets. If you just removed the name and you told me it's a random shitcoin, I would believe you. I'll believe you. Let's see. We got who we have next. We have Davernald Music. Feel free to have a message, man. I see that you just sent in a super chat, but no message. I'm guessing it probably got, I don't know, YouTube took it away or some shit like that. MG says Red Cap. Full disclosure, I do own this one. I do like this one. Hold on. Take me a few seconds to eat those. All right. So for Red Cap, look, as long as you're above that red 5 EMA on the monthly, I'm going to be holding this. And I'm sorry, I should also acknowledge, I hold this one from significantly lower, okay? So understand my disposition here. It may or may not be relevant to you. Do I think it's going to correct more sideways here and maybe a little bit of downside in the short term? Yeah, I do. I don't think it's taken off to the upside in the short term here. If anything, it's actually more likely to test down around like below $11. Again, back down towards these lows. Price action pivot here at 1080 is probably about where it's going. You know, if it has a quick wick down to the daily 200 simple, it's probably investable for me if I wanted to put more money in, which I don't. But ultimately, my rule here is that I'm holding this investment long as it is above that red 5 EMA, and I'll sell it. You know, look, if it closed below there today for the monthly, I'd sell it the next day that I can. But for right now, you know, I don't really have many, you know, I really don't have a move to be made here. But yeah, in the short term, I do think it is coming down. If you're specifically asking about the daily, I do think it's coming back down to these lows. So take that as you will. I need to take another chomp of this. It's so fucking good, man. Icelandic skyr. It's a type of yogurt that is whole milk, but no fat and 18 grams of protein. Oh man, the problem is I have severe lactose intolerance, so I'm like very, very afraid to try anything that's based off of yogurt or dairy in any way. Almost done. God, how do they make this so good? With copious amounts of honey, I guess. And coconut, so fucking good, man. Holy shit. MG's back. He's looking at AAOI. Okay. Really good. Really good. So this one's closing this month out very strongly. Next month, I think that you're going to probably retest those highs. I don't think you're going to make new highs though, or at least I don't think it's going to be like a consistent new high. I think it's going to be something like this: spike those highs, come back down, consolidate lower, maybe where you're at right now, maybe slightly lower, towards like 70. And then perhaps try your move. But overall, you know, if you were in this one before this week, especially, I think you're in a great position. I don't think you're going to be coming back down below $50, or at least anytime soon, man. I think that this thing's going to be going sideways and up for a while. Really fucking good here, man. Really fucking good. Yeah, you do have a gap at around 59 and a quarter. I'm of the opinion you probably don't even fill this gap, or at least not anytime soon, man. This one wants to try some more upside in the short term. But do be aware that when it tests around the previous all-time high from 2017, whether that's like 90 to $100, you're very likely going to see, you know, a pullback from those regions. And I'd be expecting it to take some more time going sideways before the real move to the upside, and that might take many months, to be honest with you, man. So, so ultimately, if you're already holding this one, I think it's a great fucking do, man. I really do. Really, really nice here, especially with the bi-monthly as well. I mean, powerful, very fucking powerful. But personally, I'd you know, if I'm looking at this right now, I'd be avoiding it right now just because I'd put it on my watch list, but realize I'm probably not going to touch it for like another 6 months when it actually has that real correction. Something like that, man. Anyways, El Candelas is saying GM 4-hour RKT. Okay, is it RXT? Sorry, it is RXT. My apologies. Rack space. Why does that sound familiar? Oh, terrible chart. Terrible fucking chart, man. You're looking at a 4-hour though. All right, well, fair enough. Maybe it doesn't matter so much here, but even here, kind of have to go in it with a bearish bias just due to the history, and these sort of one-off spikes generally do fail on something like this. So, if anything, I'm going to be betting on a failure here. If we zoom out, which I know you didn't ask for, but it is important for context, the weekly is having a perfect rejection of that 200 simple moving average. I think whatever high you saw this week or this morning is going to be the high for a very long time. You might have another bounce attempt in the short term, but I don't think you're going to reclaim that high. And if you do, I think it's going to be quickly rejected after that. And this thing's coming way back down here. And at some point back down to 40 cents or so. Now, it very well may be that you have some insider information, in which case I would, as always, say, hey, share the love, motherfucker. But, but assuming that you don't, yeah, man, I don't like what I'm seeing here. Yes, there's a bullish engulfing monthly dildo right here. I just don't trust these things that only go down, man. I don't trust technical signals on shit that only goes down. I don't trust, or I should rephrase it this way. I don't trust bullish signals on shit that only goes down. I trust the bearish signals significantly though. So yeah. All right, what else we have? Steven Schickman, what's up, man? Socks, daily, weekly, gotcha. Okay, this is semiconductors here. Oh, this is the Bear 3X semiconductors. Man, you really love these like 3X, 2X type bullshit. I hate them, man. I really do. Long term, obviously, direction is down. Daily, weekly, is this going to be your next lower high right here? Or does it try a little bit higher towards like $2? I don't know, but either here or $2 is where I'm looking at on the next lower high before going lower once again. So that's what this thing does. It likes to go lower, lower and lower and lower and lower and lower and lower and more lower over time. Yeah, man. I think you either saw your high right here. You might see it. If it's not, then maybe like 195 to $2, but I'd be looking for lower highs there, man. I'm not looking for reversals on shit like this. Like I said, I just don't trust bullish signals on things that only go down. Shit just is what it is, man. One moment while I finish this off. Here we go. I got another one on deck here, and one more after that too. All right, Steven's back. He's got a new one though. GLL. Okay. It's a gold short. Yeah. Fuck. Guess this makes me bullish on gold too. Obviously bearish. Obviously bearish. Yeah, maybe I'm being a complete fucking redact when it comes to gold, because this chart is obviously bearish. I think best case scenario, it could rally up to like 1830. Even then, man, it's just another lower high. This thing wants to go lower, and that means gold's going higher. So maybe I do need to switch around here. I'll still stick to my guns and wait for the monthly closure, but yeah, I'm preparing to open up my asshole wide and just say, I am wrong as fuck, daddy. Send in the red dildos, or send in the green dildos, I guess. Yeah, this one wants to go lower, man. This one wants to go lower. Let's see, is there anything that I can find that's bullish about this? No. This is just straight up fucking objectively bearish in every metric. Fair enough. Let's see. Red Pill Closet says circle a daily, weekly, monthly. Kind of already looked at this one, but I guess we can go to the timeframes that you're looking at. I mean, look, that's not like a bad bi-monthly for right now, but got to follow the trend. As always, I respect the trend first. Personally, I'm looking at this as the next lower high right here. Until proven otherwise. How would you prove otherwise? Just need to see a weekly closure above the price action pivot at 91 bucks and 30 cents. And then I think you got a big rally, well past 100, like 115 to 120 region. I'd come back to it after that, but look, I'll give you a really important piece of information for people who are looking at forward reversals. This applies to almost any market that I've seen. 90% of the time, maybe even more than this, a macro reversal, or any reversal for that matter, if it's going to be downtrend to uptrend, begins first, not with a higher high, but with a higher low, typically a series of higher lows, And then once you push through to a higher high, it gets validated. This one obviously does not have a higher low here at all. It's just downtrend the whole way through. So I'm extremely skeptical of any sort of reversal that may emerge from this current green dildo on the weekly. You know, if it was going to happen, I'd be looking for something like this, like comes back down again, then sits in a higher low, trades a little bit sideways, and then breaks this high right here. That would actually make me an investor in this thing. That would be what I'm looking for. But until then, I'm just looking for more of the same. I think you got more downside to go. Yeah, I don't really have much to add on to it other than that, man. Let's see. We got McLaren F. He says, thoughts on Lunar, weekly, monthly, might be pulling the trigger on a micro Hellcat. Oh, nice. Micro Hellcat. Honestly, man, I love and hate my Hellcat Pro, to be honest. Like, I love it because it's small, and if you need it, it's there. You know, you can carry it with you whenever, or wherever, I should say. But do I trust that thing more than like fucking 10 yards? No. At least not in my hands, man. It's snappy as fuck, but hey, if you need something compact and easily carryable, it's one of the better options. Between that probably and the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0, those are probably your best bets, honestly. Anyway, let's get to your request. I'm still holding this this great technology, Lunar. It still has yet to invalidate why I'm holding it, which is essentially closing the weekly below 15 bucks and 13 cents. Until then, I'm still holding it, man. I'm still holding it. I'm looking at this as a base above the previous boundary, in which, you know, that should have a bullish bias, but in the short term, can't ignore that there is 1, 2, 3 lower highs here. So below $15, it is a real problem, and it should have a big retracement down to like 11 if that happens. I will capitulate certainly before that upon any sort of a realistic break, but for right now, I'm still holding it. You know, again, that's just sticking to my rules. That was my predefined plan before I even took this one as an investment. And for right now, you know, can't really hit a consolidation above the yellow 21 EMA on the weekly time frame. Bi-monthly time frame, you know, not amazing, not terrible, but still bullishly biased, I suppose. Same thing on the monthly as well. Still holding above that red 5 EMA. So yeah, I don't really have a reason to let this one go until it's below 15 bucks, basically. That's kind of the point that I'm getting towards. But if you're specifically asked about the weekly, do I see any signals here? If anything, probably wants to test a little bit of downside in the short term. And that very well could put it in jeopardy of that $15 line in the sand. RKGH says Wolf 9. No, oh, Wolf, it's a 9 count on the 2 hour. Are you talking about fucking, what? Is this Tone Bays from like 6 years ago? The TD sequential. To be honest, the TD sequential got shit on a lot. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. Anyways, you're looking at a 2 hour time frame. Okay, well, it's a little bit different here. Earnings were yesterday. Our lower time frame supportive for a bounce here. Is weekly still indicating higher? Let's go to a weekly. Yeah, weekly, I like this one. 2 hour time frame. Do I think it bounces here? This area makes sense. Yeah. If it loses this area, then yes, I do think you got some, you know, some real downside to go back down to like 15 bucks or so. Or sorry, maybe more like 13 and a third. But for right now, this is actually in a pretty good position right here. You got 1, 2, 3 higher lows. You're already knocking on the top side of this upper boundary. This is a bullish bias here for the resolution of this consolidation. And assuming that it does push through, I mean, you know, you could easily be looking at like low 20s, you know, 21, 22 bucks. Yeah, it's really all that I got to say about this. I don't know about so much of a focus on the 2 hour time frame if you're realistically trading the weekly. But yeah, weekly just needs to close above about 16.75, 16 3/4 on the price action pivot right there. And now to confirm a breakout with a target up towards just kind of eyeballing this one about $21 to $22. And on low volatility right here, yeah, bias is on the upside breakout. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. Great Bud Hype says, looking for Tesla entries for long-term hold. Depends how long you may be holding this and what your risk tolerance is, but let's go take a look at it. As always, full disclosure, I do own Tesla myself. There it is, still above 400 bucks. Where's my line in the sand on this one in the short term? That would be below about 380 on a weekly closure. I do think you are going to test around 380, to be honest with you. I'm just not so convinced that you actually will break it to the downside. We're coming to the end of this month and quarter, and these are not the most confidence-inducing closures, assuming it closes here or lower. Now, to be fair, it is another 3 hour or almost 4 hours to go until the monthly and bi-monthly closes, but I'd really want to see a rally before the end of the month, honestly. And going down to the daily, I don't think you're going to get that. I think if anything, you're going to get a retest of like 395 to 380. but it'd look great if it closed above like 420. Great number as well. So yeah, basically if you lose 380, I think you're coming down significantly towards, 320 to $300. It's actually still above my entry. But I will let some of that go, assuming that it does close, below 380. But, closing at 400 doesn't really do too much for me either which way. Still, I will take action if I see a weekly below 380. That's the big one for me. It's not so much about the monthly or bi-monthly at this point. It's really about the weekly. So I think you're going to test there. The real question is it break or not? My opinion is that it will not break on the next pass. If I'm wrong, it's down a lot, and I will capitulate on at least some of my position if that happens, and likely reposition lower, because I actually do like this one for the long term. Just should if it came down to like 300, I'd rather pick some up there than hold on to what is more or less like a 30% down drawdown. You want some wood? What? Wait, what? Wait, what's up? Batman86 says take around Meta monthly and weekly. Sure. Let's check it out. This is Meta stock, formerly Facebook. Seems like so long ago now, even though it probably wasn't that long ago. Similar to the last few ones, man. I think this one's poised for another retest of the range lows, somewhere around $600. Do I think it's actually going to break down from there? I'm not so convinced just yet. If you do see a weekly closure below 600, then yeah, I think you got some real downside to about 470 to $500. I personally have an alert here a little bit lower than that. Probably should move that up if anything. That was from many aeons ago. But for right now, looking for something that's obvious. And again, short term, this thing wants to test some downside. It does. Only way I could switch around my opinion in the short term is if it reclaimed like 662. I would say within less than a week, but I think that's more hoping than anything else. This thing had hidden bearish divergence on this last rejective lower high. I think you're going to come back down to these lows at $600 and maybe even lower, at some point in March or April, something like that, man. A lot of these things look like they do want to correct lower, to be honest with you. Just they are pending the confirmations. But yeah, if I'm giving you my unfiltered opinion, it's like this would be an opportunity. So I would probably hold off on doing investments right here. A lot of the videos that I've been doing in the past couple of weeks with long-term investments and pointing them out is like, hey, these are the ones I'm interested in, but I'm also interested in them much lower than where they're at right now. So maybe I'm letting my bias, show through a little bit too much, but I am a lot more biased towards a pullback here for a lot of these things, especially these big tech guys as well. These ones seem to be leading the drawdown, actually, if anything. El Rey Leon says, greetings. Can you please check Ethereum on the 8-hour? Sure. Got the last man standing, the last Buterol standing over here. But fair enough. There needs to be someone, of course. I don't really specifically understand the value of the 8-hour time frame specifically, but if anything, similar to Bitcoin, hidden bearish divergence on that last lower high. I have to be biased towards this thing coming back down to 1850, maybe even all the way back down specifically to 1800. If you do break below 1800, this thing will actually have an implied move, probably another $200 lower. So somewhere around 15 to 1600 if that were to happen. But for right now, I think that you just trade a little bit to the downside. The real question is, do you actually break that low or not? If you do, get ready for another $200 slide or so. Until then, I think it probably will do something like this. Like come down here a little bit. Okay, try for another bounce. Does that bounce get another lower high somewhere around here and then break down, or does it just, shoot through the floor? I don't fucking know, but yeah, it's not looking too hot to me. See what the bi-monthly looks like. I know you didn't ask about it, but I'm just curious for my own knowledge. And what do you know? The Green 55 BMA is coming into contact with price action relatively soon. So where is that? 1600 almost. So that actually correlate very, very well with a breakdown, meeting that specific target, and then very likely bouncing there too. Which, to be fair, on the bi-monthly would still be a higher low, assuming that it holds there. But yeah, a lot of ifs, unfortunately, in that statement. So either which way I cut it, though, I am biased towards some short-term downside. You got daily hidden bearish divergence here too. I mean, there's just no reason to be bullish on this thing as long as you're below what was Tuesday's high. Tuesday's high was 21.51 and 51 cents. A lot of 51s there. Yeah. If you can reclaim that number, okay, great. Big bounce to like the mid 2000s, but that's hopium right now, man. That's just straight up fucking hopium. What else we got? MG, he's back. He's looking at AGQ, daily, weekly, monthly. Gotcha. Okay, AGQ, got it. So this is some silver ETF, I'm guessing, and Silver really looks like it's heading into a bull trap to me. It really does. But even though it is heading into a bull trap, in the short term, it's going to go higher. Or I shouldn't say it's going to go higher. It's very likely to go higher. It's probably somewhere around like 215 to 220 for this thing right here. You got hidden bullish evidence right here. Yes. I don't see this one reclaiming the highs at 440, to be honest with you. But I do think that it extends this bounce decently, 10% to 20% more from where it's at right now. But be wary of any sort of rejection in this area right here. That's where I'd be saying, okay, if you get a rejection there, that's your bull trap. Say fucking good night to this thing for a long time. Let's go look at silver itself. Yeah, kind of the same chart right here. Has it got up to $100 yet? No. I still think it might get $100 and then turn down, but for right now, it is following gold. It's certainly not as strong as gold. And I do think that this rally extends a little bit more actually towards $100, but I still look at this rally as very likely going to be a bull trap in this region right here. Somewhere between like 102 on the upper end versus, I guess on the lower end, kind of where it's at right now. But I think it will try a little bit higher in the short term. Gold, by contrast, looks like it's a lot more ready, pending a closure above Monday's high to retest those highs. And from there, it's just you got to be bullish for new all-time highs if that happens. But like I said, it's a long day left to go. I'm still very much open-minded about this one, but I'm going to hold on to my previous biases until I see that closure above 250, which, shit, man, very well maybe today. We shall see. Thomas Powers Media says, but if you're looking for defensive names, Ball, CPs, okay, lots of different ones like that. Defense. I thought you meant like defense, like defense technology, like Lockheed Martin or something like that. You're talking about like defensive assets. I guess uncorrelated things maybe. Yeah, interesting. Let's see what else we have over here. Let me read through some of these comments. 69663 says, could you take a look at Coda if it wasn't earlier, please? Sure. I don't think anyone's ever asked about this ever, to be honest. Short-term local high, very obviously. Weekly, a rejective high right here as well. I actually don't hate this one long-term. This is just kind of like your classic retest the highs and then pull back scenario. So I do think that you have a high in for now. Long-term, I think it's good, but I do think that you're coming down in the short and medium term, and you're probably going to do something like this. Come down to the 21, bounce, put in a lower high, come down maybe a little bit lower towards here, then put in a low, and then try your upside. But yeah, popping back up towards that previous high over here, not necessarily, certainly not a bad thing. So, well, the long term leaves a lot to be desired. But for right now, I think this is a reaction, a reaction pullback. You're going to trade lower, but should be a higher low bias at least. And I don't really have a reason to be bearish on this thing as long as you're above about $10 or $10.50. So yeah, take it as you will, I suppose. Cool. Joe Marty says, what equities assets go up when everything else is going down? It always depends, man. It depends on the narrative, depends on the rotations, depends on many different things, man. Like, because those assets are typically the ones that are going down only when everything else is going up. So yeah, man. But I guess in the context of what is going on right now, what are the bullish things? Well, we've seen some of the metals doing okay. Is there anything green in my strong list over here? Well, commodities, yes. Yeah, not much. Got XLV. This one's pretty good. I think I have a small position in this. I'm actually not exactly sure if I got filled or not. This is good. TXT I like right here, but yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that they are hedges in this case. They're just better charts than most things right now. Okay, cool. Do you still use the Joule for trades? I mean, I will reference it for sure. But honestly, I've been kind of like curtailing my list of indicators. It's just kind of getting to like indicator hell. And honestly, all of the indicators that we have, I stand by, I love. I think they all have value. But in the context of YouTube, I found that the more indicators you bring out, generally confuses people. And not everyone, obviously, probably not you, but, newer people for sure. And definitely some other people as well. And, I want my YouTube content to be very relatable, and I want to save like the hard hitting, super fucking nerdy TA stuff for like the programs. Even the TA 101 beginners playlist is going to have some of that, but especially the paid programs as well. That's where I save that kind of stuff for. The YouTube, I kind of want to be more digestible, for a general audience. Because, realistically, most people who are watching this content just most people in general. It's not like a bad thing, by the way. They're not going to be traders. They're not going to be even investors. Although I think being a long-term investor is certainly more tangible. So that's kind of why I've been even reorganizing a bit of my content as well, in alignment with what I think is actually happening in the world, which is, look, we're probably heading towards an age of digital feudalism, with AI and robotics kind of taking over. And unless if you're directly involved in those sectors, like building companies there and whatnot, which I'm not, then what's the best way to kind of get a piece of that pie is to invest in the companies that are, focusing on those exact things. And because I'm not in the, in the business of trying to pick exact winners, I go with the ETFs more or less. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there, and why I've been reorganizing my content. Because ultimately, man, if you're following this content on YouTube, I hope, or at least that is my legitimate conviction for the next 3 to 5 years. Like that is the investable asset. That is the one that we want. It's not going to take a genius to do it, but at the same time, don't want to get stuck in all these other things because they're probably just going to get eaten up, man. I mean, looking at not all previous revolutions or technology revolutions, but at least the past 100 years of technological revolutions, it's generally what happens, man. So yeah, have to kind of invest in it, I suppose, or at least have some exposure. I mean, for fuck's sake, like if you don't have any exposure to this stuff right now, it is very scary. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying buy exactly right here. I think you're about to get a pullback, just generally market wide. Assuming the West attacks Iran, I think you get your opportunity right there. And then I'm not sure when the next one comes. But yeah, don't care what people say about SIG and the P320. P320 did have an issue in its early launch with its discharge from being dropped at a specific angle. They fixed that though. I always love talking about gun stuff. I don't know how relevant this is to the stream right now, but hey, I love talking about gun shit. I don't know, man. For whatever reason, I just don't like Sig Sauer. I don't know why, man. I said this before, and this is just my intuition. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but I look at them as like the Apple of the gun world, in that they just charge you a premium because they can. And is it really that much better? No, or probably not. And I don't know, for some reason, I just don't like their stuff. I just don't like it. I just don't fucking like it. I don't want their fucking spear. Give me a good old AR-15. That's all I want. Steven Schickman's back. He's looking at SMH. Okay. Semiconductors over here, and overall good, but like most things in the short term, it is finding, in this case, some weekly bearish divergence. I think that you're setting up for a bit of a pullback. Long term, it's good though. I think it's shit. It might, looking at the long term, it might not pull back that much. Look, if it pulls back to like 390, that's fine. Overall, this thing's bullish long term, so can't really hate this. It's just, do you pull back to 390 or not? There is one place that would make me legitimately bearish on this, and that would be if it came back down below the February lows. This one would be 374 and a quarter. If that happened, I'd be looking for a much deeper correction down to like 350. But for right now, have to respect strength overall. And while I do think it pulls back a little bit more, it's still got a higher low there, to be fair. So, I'd be looking somewhere down around here. Hopefully a big bounce continues on with the all-time high party after that. Have you tried Juicy Pussy? In some ways, yes. In some ways, no, sir. In some ways, no, indeed. No, I don't eat bread, man. I don't eat no bread. I don't eat no fucking bread. I believe there are 3 SIG companies. SIG USA is not the best of them. Yeah, unfortunately, that seems to be true of most of these. We want to be proud Americans, but they ain't doing us very proud at those fucking at those factories. Love how my MCX, love my MCX, but AR is classic for sure. How do you like the MCX? Like, what do you like about it? Because I'm not gonna lie, it does look very interesting. It does look very, very interesting. I need to take another chomp of this. Zonkard asks, has HCA peaked? I don't know. Check it out. Healthcare. I don't think I've looked at this one before. Overall, really good here, Mom. I don't think so, no. I think this one makes new highs in the next couple months. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say yet. I think that this thing has like another couple months, maybe. Where would I be wrong, though? It's a hard one to manage risk on something like this. You'd have to wait until it's like below 480 or something. Not very helpful, I know, but yeah, it's kind of difficult about these things that are in the last, few months of their rallies. But yeah, do I think it has more here? Yes, I do. I do. Especially if it closes anywhere above 527.5, which is about $1 above right now. So yeah, do a video from your 150 truck someday. I guess I could. It's going to be kind of hard to look at charts in the truck though. Yardbook says, I love the P365, but agree they got the military optic contract, but did not perform. They came in third for performance and first in price. Yeah. Not every branch or unit is fielding the SIG rifles either. Yeah, fair enough, man. I don't know. I mean, shit, man. Like, I have the fucking DD Mark 18, which is considered kind of an older rifle now. I mean, that was the rifle of the global war on terror, like 20, 25 years ago. It's a fucking phenomenal rifle, man. Like, it really is. That thing works. It will always cycle. You could throw mud in that thing. It will cycle. It will fucking cycle. It's great. But it's very, very short. And when you do fire it without a silencer, it's loud. It's real fucking loud. I'm gay for folding stocks and it's superior for shooting suppressed. Fair enough. Fair enough indeed. OX Monopoly says the ADM has full ambient settings, which, you mean American Defense Mag. I thought it was a ticker. Yeah, man, I've heard really good things about ADM. I've heard really good things about ADM, actually. But I've never actually seen one in person. Max Murchison says AI feudalism might also benefit those holding assets of companies which stand to benefit from productivity increases. Yeah, I see your line of reasoning there. I'm not as interested in that personally because I do think at some point the AI and robotics just get so good on their own that they can just eat those companies anyways. But maybe I'm massively wrong about that. It's obviously not a bad do in the short term. Those companies are doing objectively really fucking well, no doubt about that. But personally, I want to be involved. When I'm thinking in terms of allocations, I'm certainly going to do much greater percentage in favor of the ones that are directly involved in AI robotics, rather than the ones that are, using it to benefit their own companies. Just because, well, first off, the AI and robotics are, generally lower market cap, so they got more upside. And then second off, I mean, objectively, it does make more sense to me, at least. What else we got here, man? Dassault Aviation, Daily Weekly. How about a ticker, man? DAU? Is it DAU 0? Okay, yeah, it is. Oh, it's a German company. Okay. I don't know what to make of this one, man. I don't like these charts that just drop off the fucking cliff. If I'm looking at it in the short term, obviously it does have an uptrend, and I should be bullish on it as long as you're about 335. Basically the low this week. When I go to a monthly, it's like, okay, if you're going to be looking for another rejection and another, major macro high, this is exactly where you should be looking for at 350. So I avoid stuff like this, man. And which one would I go with? Would I go with the higher term time frame or the lower term time frame? Almost always I'm going to go with the higher term time frame. So that's what I'm going to do here too. If I had to call it, I think you're getting rejected from 350 and it's going to be down over the next few months. But I don't feel confident about this. I don't like charts like this. I avoid charts like this. I don't look at them as investable personally. Just, again, personal opinion there. What else we got here? Not a C gay guy crown. No, man. I do love my Geisleys though, man. I guess I'm a Geisley guy, I suppose. Fucking love it though. What do you think of the War ETF? Cool name. Very cool name. That's the first most important thing when investing. Find a cool name. Well, first off, I'm putting it on my list. Defense technology is the other existential thing that I think makes a lot of sense in this current era. If we really are in a fourth turning, and we really are, we obviously are gearing up for war. Well, defense technology becomes an existential need. Thus, it's very investable. There certainly is a lack of history here. I've added it to my list, and I do think that it will come down in the short term, but I actually will probably buy a little bit if it gets somewhere around here, 24.40. You do have bearish divergence on these last few highs, so yeah, I do think you got some downside, but I also like these higher lows on the daily 200 simple. So if I get that test down around there, I guess I actually will buy some. I did just put an alert there. Doesn't look like it trades too much, but... And again, I'm not guaranteeing that this is going to work out, but there's a super easy way to invalidate this one and just take the loss. It's looking at this low right here from the 5th of February, or sorry, 5th of February at 23.59. Really don't have to risk that much in order to figure out if this is going to be a good long-term trade or not. So I don't know, that'd be what, like 5% risk right there. Yeah, that's really good in my opinion for potentially a long-term hold. So yeah, in the short term, I think it's going to go down, but I actually might be interested right around here. We'll see. I'll do a little bit of research myself. Probably over this weekend on this thing. So thank you for bringing it up. One of the reasons why I do these streams, man, is not to share my own thoughts, but also to get the thoughts of the community, because sometimes you find some great stuff. I mean, it's definitely, I found some amazing stuff in the past through this community and requests that I would have never known about before. Cognibus is looking at XPO. Okay. Nicely. Really good. New highs is never a bad thing. Closing the month out on new highs is a very good thing. Is it ready to break? It's breaking out. What is this thing? What is it? I'm just curious. It doesn't say. Is it breaking out right now? Whether it's breaking out right now, whether it's not breaking out right now, I think you're getting ready for new highs in March. It's possible you might see a pullback, in March at some point. I think that would just be an opportunity. If this thing pulled back to like 185 or 190, that's fine. Ultimately, I think that you're getting ready for new highs, whether it's in March, April, whatever. This thing is not done yet. It's really good. It's really, really good. I think you got probably another couple months of this, something like that, man. But do you get like an intra-month pullback and then resume your upside? Maybe. At which point, I'd just be a buyer down around there if you even get it. Are we getting a bounce on Uber? Sure. 25 3SB EST says, I work at Costco handing out samples 3 times a week to get me off the computer and out and about. Fuck yeah, man. We love people like you, man. We fucking love people like you. I fucking love this guy, man. He works at Costco, the best goddamn company on the planet Earth. Incredible. In-fucking credible. Uber. Yeah, we can look at Uber really quickly. By the way, can you tell Elsa? Okay, sorry. Let me actually explain the situation best. Elsa's like, when she goes to Costco and she sees the samples, she's like a little bit apprehensive to go and take them. She feels like she's doing something wrong. Please, for the love of God, aware her that the samples exist so that people go over there, check them out, try them, and then go buy the fucking product. And it is completely fine to go take the goddamn samples. In fact, you should go take the samples. That's what they're there for. And talk to the people who are handing them out too. You always have some good conversations with them. It's usually like an old lady or something, but I've had some great conversations with these bitches. Kidding. They're lovely ladies, okay? I really did not use that terminology properly. Uber, yeah, okay. What were we looking at here? Are we getting a bounce on Uber? Who's we? The poor saps who are holding this thing? I don't know. It probably does bounce to like $78, but I don't like it here. Yeah, it probably does bounce a little bit more, but I generally don't like it. I think at some point you will see this thing back down around like $65, but in the short term, does it bounce a little bit? Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a tremendously massive bounce, but short term, sure. Which night AR are you looking at? The SR1, man, the 13.7 inch barrel. That is just, oh my God, man, it's so fucking cool. It's so fucking cool, man. Let's see, BNKR for the original, okay. BNKR, gotcha. Bankers Investment, really good. Really fucking good. Monthlies on a bullish engulfing dildo on new all-time highs. This thing is getting ready for more, man. I think that this thing is going to go to like 150 plus. Really fucking good. Trades on London Stock Exchange, so I can't get a piece of this, but yeah. This thing's ready for more, man. This is really hidden bullish divergence on caretakers RSI on new all-time highs. So this is like picture perfect breakout type shit on rising volatility too. Great. This hurts my eyes. Says, I can't watch this while old maid is chewing. Pig. Jesus Christ, man. Grab hold of your nuts, sir, and stop complaining because it's pathetic. This TA is giving me a return. Thoughts on eBay long term? Honestly, I was actually recently reacquainted with eBay through a friend. I completely forgot eBay even existed, but it's pretty good platform. It's pretty good platform. I like hidden bullish evidence here. I think that this one's probably heading back up towards the range highs at 95, 96 bucks. Might even break out with new highs, but I do think your next move is continuation of bounce. Yeah. You even got a bit of an inverted head and shoulders right here. So pending today's closure, basically here or higher. Yeah, probably back around like, I don't know, mid 90s, something like that. Only bearish if it comes back down below this week's low at 82.5 bucks. That would not be good. That would not be good. Food literally tastes twice as good when you're hungry, and with every bite, the pleasure sensors in your brain register less. True. Very true indeed. Suzu says cow ETF. Okay. I wonder what this is. It's global agri. Probably good. Probably a good idea, honestly. I guess this is my one way to buy a farm, but it doesn't trade on US exchanges, which is not ideal. It's Canadian exchange right here. Overall good. Overall bullish. Short term though, do I think it's going to continue exactly from here? Maybe not. It's got that same issue that we saw in a couple of the other charts. You're retesting a prior major swing high, and you sold off perfectly from it. So I'm inclined to say you're probably going to consolidate a little bit sideways and down, and then try another move to the upside. But like long term, like if we fast forward a year from here, I think you're a lot more likely to trade around $85 or higher than you are to come back down below 60 bucks, for example. So I do like it overall. I think it's just in the short term going to consolidate sideways and be a little bit boring after hitting like a major region like that, man. VIX for Capo, sure. We haven't looked at the volatility index in a long time. I also don't know how much like I actually care to look at it. I mean, if anything, kind of got to be getting ready for a bounce here, but it's like a shitcoin chart. It's really difficult to get when these spikes are. You know when it's possible, and right now is one of those situations where it absolutely is not just possible, but it's kind of likely. But those periods of low vol, they do drag on for a long time. I really don't know. If I had to call it, it would be up from here. I think you're getting ready for another one of these spikes, but that's more guessing than real technical analysis. So yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Elsa sounds like a dying rooster. What? Is that a Slavic thing? Great way to massively offend any sort of fucking Nordic people. They hate the Eastern Europeans. Okay, when I say they hate the Eastern Europeans, what I mean is they hate Russia, obviously. Like, duh, fucking Russia's been trying to take them over for the past, I don't know, couple hundred years. So what do you expect? Crazy idea, right? My wife buys luxury clothing on eBay. That's awesome. I don't know if it's a great idea, though, just because there's a lot of like fraud that goes on eBay. Yeah, you don't know if it's real or not. That's the problem with it. I have had some issues with eBay purchases, you know, like something says, oh, it's green, but it's actually red. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck, man? I literally just wanted green, not red. But yeah. Maybe a new channel to rival Grantham. That'd be pretty cool. But no, man, I'm not qualified to speak on firearms. I just like them, you know. I don't know. Maybe we can have guns and corns, and we just have guns in the background, and we talk about corns. That could be it. But yeah, man, I don't have any insights to be had on firearms, man. I'm just a fucking firearm simp who likes using them and caressing them and holding them in his hands and respecting them and also firing them as well. Very fun. Oh, she was actually in the business, so she knows. Yeah, fair enough, man. Unfortunately, we do not have that same knowledge. Also probably don't want to be buying that there as well. Open weekly, sure. Open Door Technologies. Yeah, don't like it. Don't like it overall. I marked this area off previously as a likely rejection on a lower high. I'm still sticking with that. I think you might get one more rally up though to like 680 or $6.50 before it breaks down, but long term, I still feel quite confident that this is what's happening. I think you just might get one more bounce up. Maybe it's like mid sixes or something. But what I feel very confident on is this is a high for a very long time, whatever this one was right here at like $10 plus or whatever. Pews and corns. Yeah, man. We need some more pews and corns. Everyone needs, if you're American, go buy a fucking gun, okay? Stop listening to this, or you can even just listen to this on your fucking phone. It's fine. Take it with you. Go to the gun store. Buy a fucking gun. Doesn't matter which one it is. Just get a gun, okay? Everyone needs to get a fucking gun. Everyone who does not have mental disorders needs to get a gun. Look, there are some issues that come alongside of it. There's no doubt about that at all whatsoever. But the citizens are more safe when more citizens have more guns. It's that simple. Cars, Crypto, and Conspiracies. It's time to walk the dog. Have a great weekend. You as well, ma'am. Thomas Powers is looking at Moo. This might be the U.S. equivalent. Let's check it out. Yes, this is an agribusiness ETF. Okay, interesting. Definitely not as good of a chart as the other one. Now, I do think it is going to go up from here. Or generally, you're probably doing something like this. Sorry, just drawing fucking stupid lines now. Generally, I think it's going to be something like this. It's just not as objectively good as the other one that we looked at. Obviously things that are already at previous all-time highs are going to be just naturally stronger than things that are not. But regardless of that, it's good long-term. Obviously, it's had a nice history ever since 2008, just going steady up and to the right. In terms of returns, though, not great, to be honest, man. Really not great. In fact, when we're looking at the 2020 lows, it's only up about 2x from those, which you're probably saying, oh, 2x, that's a lot. But we're talking about from 2020. The money supply has increased more than 40% since then. And most stocks, especially the ones that have actually been doing something, have gone up many X's from 2020 lows. So it's like, is it a good investment? I don't know about that, man. And, is it an uncorrelated investment? No. In 2022, it topped out as well and came down for the last 3 years straight. And thinking in terms of long-term investments, not a great one here, unfortunately, even though I do think it is going to be going up. That's all, man. When you buy a gun and you have kiddos, you need to buy a safe. Actually, I literally just got one yesterday, and I have a fucking massive ass 1,000-pound safe bolted down to the ground. It will never move. I love it, man. I fucking love it. I love it. BCOM for behind the barrel. Behind the barrel. Seems like you're in the right place, sir. BCOM, okay. Bloomberg commodity, okay. Interesting. I don't think I've ever looked at this. Objectively, it is bullish here. You do have a higher low on a nice rounded bottom, so that is good. Kind of similar to the last chart, though. It's in terms of returns, I don't think there's a big argument even made for this thing. I mean, percentage moves here are not super impressive, but I do think you got some upside here. I think this thing trades back up to 140 or so, something like that, in the coming months. You do have a quarterly higher low already here as well, so it probably is sideways and up from here. On the long term, I just think in terms of returns, not the biggest winner, but at least it's a winner. So you got that. DA says NXE uranium. Sure. NXE. Caretaker says keeping your kids in a safe doesn't sound very legal. That's exactly. You can always count on Caretaker, man. Always nitpicking the statements to perfection. I love it, man. I love it. Let's see. NXE right here. Good. Very good. I like this correction in February down to the 5 EMA and beautifully bouncing off of there. Now, in the short term, I actually do think you get one more correction before this thing tries the upside move. I think you come down to 11.5 or so, but that is a higher low objectively. And, something like that would be good. But yeah, that does imply in the short term, it probably does come down a little bit. It's only bearish if it comes back down below this rejective low here at about $10. Until then, I think got a little bit of downside. I think it's going to be a higher low, and I think you push up higher later on. Yeah, objectively good. Here's your bi-monthly as well. I mean, not bad. So yeah. Cool. You got NXT. What is this thing? Next Gen Energy. Okay, so I'm guessing some sort of, maybe it's like an energy drink, or it's oil and gas or something. I don't know, but yeah, looking good there, man. Have you watched Jim Jeffries' comedy bit on guns? I don't think so, actually. Jim Jeffries, is that the blue collar comedy guy? Remember Larry the Cable Guy and shit like that? If you put your kids in a safe, make sure the combination is their birthday. Yeah, right. BE on the weekly monthly. I remember this ticker, but I don't remember what it looks like. Let's see. Well, should remember because it's pretty good. Monthly. Short term, I do think it's corrective here. I'm guessing you have some bearish divergence. In fact, you very much do. but you got higher lows as well. So whether it puts in a higher low at 150, whether it comes down to like 140, I don't know. But I'd be looking at those areas as higher lows, and for this thing to likely try higher in March, something like that. I really don't think in terms of timing this thing has much more to go. I think maybe another month or two at most, maybe make another high in March and then it's done. I do think that this thing's like very tired here. The monthly RSI is going to absolutely be putting in some pretty nasty divergences on whatever new high that you do get. So yeah, short term pullback, hopefully one more rally past like $200, then I'd be like very defensive around that region. So yeah. Oh, he's Australian. Okay. Yeah. No, I don't know him actually. Butt butter. Yes. Butt butter and the amazing cornholio. Butt butter is asking about ARB versus USD. Wow. The one person still looking at actual shitcoins here. Well, I'm guessing it's already bullish before I look at it. So let's go check it out. You never know until you actually check it out. Oh, what do you know? Another straight down fucking chart. Incredible. Unfucking believable. Bro, it's reversing right here, okay? I heard on Herbie Derp's channel that this thing just got a new partnership with another asset that doesn't have any income or any real business activities to begin with, but they have a partnership, so that means it should be going up right about now. Yeah. Sure, man. Pretty bad. Any sort of bounce that you do get on this thing, if you even get a bounce at all, they're all going to get rejected. This is a down only asset. Down only. Down only means it literally only goes down. Incredible. Unfucking believable. It was around during a whole bull market and only went down. How is that possible? How is that possible? I'm a responsible gun owner. I keep my guns locked in a safe. Corporate batteries for data centers, gotcha. But bro, fundamentals, yeah, fair enough. It's what a lot of this shit is, to be honest. At the end of the day, that's what a lot of it is. Even at the highest level, even when you're in a Bloomberg terminal, a lot of it really is that. Great community, a lot of bag holders, a lot of fucking bag holders, man. And bag holders make the best community members. Nothing makes a bigger believer than someone who's down 99%. And needs it to go up now. When go up, Mr. Devs? Please help go up. Goofy, what's up, man? I know you have, because I've seen you here. And for anyone who's commented, by the way, for like really any short amount of time, even, I remember these people, especially the OGs, though. For the last 8 years, but salute. But one of your greatest takes is your doggy watch as you go. She loves it, man. She loves the poop. She did it again today as well, man. I should take pictures of it if it wasn't like exposing my own peignoir. But yeah, man, she crawls up into the toilet while I'm still there, like poking her head in, like you know how it is when you sit down on the toilet, your fucking pants and your underwear go to the ground. She uses my pants, which are still on my kneecaps, as like a support to peek in to where my peignoir is and try to get a nice whiff of my shits. It's unbelievable, truly. I mean, God, this must be the dog that loves shit the most. I mean, for fuck's sake, like her main goal in life is to find the poop, lick the poop, eat the poop as much as possible. Not even her own poop, everyone else's poop too. And she lays out some stinky fucking turds too. I mean, God damn, man, this morning was insane. She piled them up this morning. Yeah, and she should. It's disgusting. Like, get your act together, dog, for real. You're almost 6 months. Like, you're basically a real person now. Diamond Jim says, look at FLY Aerospace. All right. Okay. Don't think I've seen this one before. Don't like it. Really don't like it. I think this one's going back down to these lows from November, man. Hidden bearish divergence in that last lower high. You're already back around the lows. This thing's ready to break on low volatility. That's a beautiful caretaker RSI setup right there. It's not good. She is cute. That's right. If Rosie wasn't cute, she'd be out in the streets real fucking fast. Like Elsa as well. If Elsa wasn't cute, she'd also be kicked out to the streets. Kidding. Hey, Krana, train dogs. I would correct this behavior one time and stop it for good. Feel free to send Elsa a how-to on email, and actually, we'd be very interested to figure that out. We actually really do try to do our best with training her and everything, but I don't know, man. For whatever reason, the shit eating is very difficult to stop. I just don't understand. Everything else she's like really good with, honestly. Yeah, I mean, we try to like. I don't really know how to make her stop. Like, we tried giving her these tablets that make her shit smell really bad to herself, hopefully. But she still will eat them, man. She loves it. She loves it. She's a fucking shit connoisseur, man. She eats them no matter what. No matter what. Yarbrook says, teach kids to shoot responsibly and respect firearms. Remove the taboo, and they're far less likely to try and mess with them unsupervised. As long as they don't dye their hair blue, you're good. Especially the last part. You dye your hair blue, we need to take it away. Look, I'm joking, but I'm not joking, all right? There's a reason we have prejudices to begin with. Because sometimes they're true. That's why. Sometimes they're true. Change her food. We actually have changed her food a couple of times, and she still loves it, man. She still eats the food and she eats her shits, man. I really don't understand it. I'm trying to figure it out, but yeah. She doesn't eat it every time, but it's well, of course, like if we're there and we take it away, then she can't. But you really got to be on top of her, because she is like, as soon as that shit's plopping out, she's already like trying to snake around her own self and look at her own ass, making like a C with her body. She doesn't do it outside, really? Huh. Yeah. I don't know. Should we end the stream there? Should we end the stream there? Let's see. Let's go over to CME. I haven't actually looked at CME on the bi-monthly. I guess it's not really much different than spot. Yeah, they're kind of the same chart here, so not really getting much from that. Yeah, I would still be expecting something resembling a bounce at the 21 EMA here, but closing the bi-monthly up below there, it's going to probably it's going to start to turn the bias towards a bounce around this region. It's likely just that, a bounce before going lower. Is there any hopium for hidden bullish evidence here? Actually, there is between this low from April of last year and potentially this low going in here, but it would really have to pop back up and reverse above about $80,000 before that looks like a reversal hidden bullish evidence, rather than a pity bounce into a continuation sort of thing. Yeah, we've looked at silver earlier. I still think it could go a little bit higher, maybe closer to $100, but that's kind of where I'd be certainly a lot more defensive on that one there. Science diet is the best food. Supplement with fresh pet and a probiotic if you want. Interesting. Okay. I feel like we've gone through so many at this point. If you have kids and firearms, you don't need a safe. Wait, what? You don't need a safe, or you shouldn't get one. Now that I recognize it too, Crown Oscillator on the bi-monthly is like just freshly turning down to like, this is, let's see, what is that historically meant? Because I haven't looked at this one specifically just yet. Okay, yeah, bout over there and worse over here. Both of those did correct down to the 55 EMA. So yeah, maybe I'm being a little bit too optimistic with potentially a low in the mid 50s. Oh, well, we shall find. We have derailed indeed. That's what you come here for. You come here for silly goose time, derailing the conversation. We talk about crypto. We talk about traditional markets. We talk about investments. We talk about all these sort of, high intellect, high consciousness things. And then we talk about dog shit. It is what it is, man. Dog shit and guns. Anyways, I think that's where we'll leave things for today. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone joining in, especially the OGs. I always love seeing the OGs here. We shall end things on that note. Or one last one for Kappa Loves Food. I'm actually like curious, what does Netflix look like these days? Not bad. I like this area for a higher low. You got a hidden bullish divergence drive right here on the 55 EMA. Yeah, I would be betting on a bounce back up, above $100, probably like 110 to maybe even 120-ish region over the coming months. Yeah, I kind of like it right there, actually. But yeah, that's where we're going to end things for today. As always, I want to wish everyone the best of the best. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll be back on Monday, most likely this weekend. I'm going to work on the options one-on-one playlist. So yeah, very much excited about that. Hopefully we get the next options trade here soon, because Bitcoin's really taking its sweet time. But yeah, we're ending things on that note. As always, take care, much love, and